Revolutionary men and women, sons and daughters of Liberia. According to Fidel Alexander Castro, a revolutionary is not a bed of roses. A revolutionary is a struggle between the past and the present. In order to have a better Liberia, we must engage into the struggle. We must introduce a new breed that will give birth to a new Liberia that will deliver sons and daughters with the hands of political terrorists in this country. I reduce your hand.
Gentlemen, here's a battle for Kumi. We got to stay strong to move Kumi to be a veteran to the tree.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, member of the press, member of the media present, today we have come. National Democratic Front met over the week. We met over the week, we discussed a lot of issues concerning Mama Liberia. And today we are here at the ANC headquarters to make our case to the nation. And we also some executives of the ANC are here present. We met over the week, we discussed a lot of things, but in short, our corporate, our senior brother, our strong military of national democracy,
Revolutionary.
We all are here, and today we are about to make our case. The war is watching us a lot. And then we allow Menipakei Dumoe to flow. We allow him to do a very short. This press will not be long, it will be very short and brief. So that Liberian people will hear our case. So, Mr. Menipakei Dumoe, this is our flow.
Amanda! Ladies and gentlemen, it is time that a bold revolutionary in country, a militant, about to speak. This is the struggle we want to join.
This is the struggle we wanted to join.
This is the struggle we wanted to join.
This is the struggle we wanted to join.
Hey, we want to be like Kumi.
Hey, we want to be like Kumi. Hey, we want to be like Kumi. This is the struggle we wanted to join.
Jefferson. Snake. The milk compounds with the dignity.
Yes. And we tell you say we are a road. We tell you say we are a road. We tell you say we are a road.
Speak. We, first of all, let me recognize the presence of the all-powerful Secretary General of the largest, the most potent in the context of hello. Speak. Honorable. In the context of post-2017 election, the ANC has grown beyond bounds. I will explain the same weather condition as everybody else in the room. I want us to remain silent as I transmit to the country what we all agree to.
Yes. So,
the ANC has expanded through alliance. Please stop distributing the water. The ANC has expanded through alliance. Alliances are not only formed between political parties. Individuals of political significance can amalgamate. The network of Cummins is the largest political network in this country. Cummins remains the most important opposition leader in this country, period. It is in this context that we are witnessing a paranoid and anxious George Manawia. We, the members of the National Democratic Front, do not see the Aki and Popo show that's going on at the Capitol Hill. At the Temple of Justice, we don't see it as a legal process. The National Executive Committee of the National Democratic Front met and concluded that it was important that as chairman, I reach out to the ANC formally and signal that we, the children of market women, we, the children of bitter ball sellers and pepper sellers, must rise up. And that we must have voice.
Yes.
And we see a better future only in the democratic context. We believe that without democracy, the poor will suffer. That without democracy, the rights of a scratch card seller will always be less than the rights of an honorable. It's only in democracy, which is the greatest equalizer. Whether you have a PhD or you got 100 million in your bank account, your one vote is equivalent to my one vote. The most equalizing force in the affairs of man is democracy. No other human ideology has brought all men beneath a simple standard. One man, one vote. In this constitutional republic of Liberia, this constitutional democracy, the voice of the people is the highest voice. The only thing superior to the Supreme Court is the voice of the people. When George Manawia and a few unelected men on Capitol Hill wearing black gown decided that they would stop the will of the people of Lofa, we took note.
Amanda, we have received the sensitive information. Amanda,
when, without examining a single shred of evidence, one A4 sheet of evidence was not presented, and an arrest warrant was issued for Alexander Benedict Cummins, George Weah's main rival in the upcoming 2023 election.
Yes.
We took note. We are aware. This generation is aware. Joseph J.K. Roberts' generation gave us Liberia as a country.
Yes.
Douglas Matthews' generation delivered a multi-party democracy. What will we do? We will protect that democracy and we'll deepen it. This move to self-form the National Democratic Front, we are not obsessed about who will become president in 2023.
So,
we are concerned about whether there will be democratic elections in 2023. We are aware that George Weah is the godson of Samuel Kanyado.
Yes.
That George Weah said Doe made him. And George Weah took the oath of office at the SKD. The first Liberian president will be sworn in at the SKD. Why the special connection? He looks to Doe for a framework of action. He is deploying those tactics. Just as Gabriel Colin, my own countryman of Bon County, a teacher, spoke out to Samuel Kanyado, I, Menipakei Dumoe, will stand up to George Weah.
Oh, say.
Speak. Bolet and other Democrats were arrested on trumped up charges, just like Alexander Cummings and the illustrious Secretary General of the ANC and the ANC chairman. Freeman. Daniel Nathan, Elisha Stone, they are in the same position as Gabriel Bolet and the other members of the opposition. Ellen Johnson Sirleaf had to abandon her seat, her senatorial seat, in protest to an election that was rigged. We must not sit down and wait for these evil forces to carry out their machinations so that we become reactive forces. Reactive forces in history never get their way. We must be proactive. We must set the tone. The time for wearing coat suit and necktie and attending useless court sessions and Capitol building must come to an end. The business of any enlightened citizen of Liberia is to join with the National Democratic Front to begin to mobilize 25,000 Liberian citizens that can represent our grievances at the executive mansion. That executive mansion where our money is spent to bring entertainment system from Ghana. That executive mansion where they set tables and bribe foreign officials. We ourselves, the people of Liberia, want to visit that mansion in April. We want to take the grievances of Kekula, who is a motorcyclist, on GSA Road. The cost of gas is astronomical. Why are they adding 25 cents to the price of gas to finance George Weah re-election? We have those concerns. Why is Brandon J. Samuel's seat being declared vacant when he's still alive? The rotten argument that because he had a jail sentence, it makes it impossible for him to serve. You have a 9-year tenure. You have a 2-year sentence. How does it make it impossible for Brandon J. Samuel to serve? While the Liberian Constitution says that anytime you serve out your sentence, all of your liberties will be restored. We have the example of Roland Kine. Roland Kine was held in continuous detention when he was accused of murder in the Margibi land situation. Roland Kine stayed at the Moira Central Prison for almost over a year. His seat was never vacated. This is an assault on democracy. The arrest and continuous intimidation, a very fundamental right, the freedom of movement, guaranteed by the Constitution to enter the Republic and to exit as you wish. Alexander Cummings does not enjoy that right. Councillor Elisha Stone does not enjoy that right. George Weah can go to carry out useless activities in Senegal, to go and launch a football stadium. As if LEC now off and we're not yet dying in the heat and people not dying on hospital beds at JFK. It is the responsibility of the ANC to stand up for national causes. We have come to the ANC headquarters to speak to your conscience. That throw away political calculation and cleave to the interests of the people. Join our call for mass pro-democracy protests for these reasons and more. Mr. Secretary General, other officials of the ANC, and the Radical Youth League chair, I have a special message for the ANC Youth League. You will have to drive the vanguard. You are an autonomous entity within the party. Most radical political movements maintain the autonomy of the Youth League so as to protect the purity of democracy. Because the elites on the executive council will get too comfortable in the constitutional condition. It will be you and the other young men in the ANC that will have to make the sacrifice. Because in the democratic calculation, young people have more at stake in the country than older people. It is with this that I will pause with a summary that we are with you. The National Democratic Front is with you. We are talking to civil servants. Civil servants cannot come on the street to join us in protest because this rotten dictator will take their jobs away. But they can give us information. They will give us all of the slander. All of the scandals. They will show us all the ways in which we are stealing our money. And will systematically discredit, will systematically take apart this illegitimate president. He is illegitimate not because he was not properly elected. He's illegitimate because he has departed from the Constitution. It's not just about how the government comes into being. It's about how it governs. Indeed, Hitler was elected. But in the running of the day-to-day affairs of the Republic of Germany, Hitler created a dictatorship and became illegitimate in the way that he got. And so we are with you. We hear that the ANC will be taking unspecified actions to bring pressure to bear on this government and its partners and Liberia's traditional friends. When you have a sit-in, we'll be there. When you are signing petition, create a room for the National Democratic Front. This is your new partner. But we are also finding friends. We want to meet with the motorcyclist union. These boys break their back all day to make money. So Georgia can buy a new car. Put 25 cents on the gallon of gas. They got price ain't high enough. They still won't add it up. They're telling importers to fake shortage. So the man like the tank. He said no gas. When special program to open it. Because it's a gimmick. They will create panic and then they increase the price of gas on our people. The motorcyclists are saying they are also concerned. So in this amalgamation of the people's interests, we want the ANC to be present and prominent and active. This is the message in a nutshell. We hope you will join with us. We will be doing similar with the Liberty Party and other progressive forces within the political system. Those who have sold out, it is not too late to come back home. Henry Pedro Costa, you took Georgia money before and your conscience pricked you. We are calling on you to listen to your conscience. We are calling on Joseph Nimagwaka to listen to his conscience. That he is leaving behind grandchildren. He is leaving behind a country that holds him in high esteem. He should stop working with the government of Liberia against the opposition. And the United Party should become a political force for good again. And join with the ANC and others in this struggle for positive democratic change. Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
My friend and brother, Dumoe, friends, comrades and cadres of the National Democratic Front, members of the press, colleagues from the ANC, my brothers and sisters, in whose presence I see a growing mass movement, sons and daughters of market women, school teachers and health workers. Representatives of the downtrodden masses, I salute you. On behalf of the leadership of the Alternative National Congress, ANC, on behalf of the political leader of the ANC, Honorable Alexander B. Cummings, on behalf of the national chairman of the ANC, Senator Daniel Flumo Naten, and the entire National Executive Committee of the ANC, I want to officially welcome you to the headquarters of the ANC.
Men and women,
your unannounced and impromptu visit to the headquarters of the ANC for the purpose of fighting for justice in this country and for the purpose of checkmating the decadent government, for the purpose of standing for the rights of the leadership of the ANC, who continue to be harassed by a dead political system, is welcome. Friends and brothers, we are in strange times. Our country is dying. Our national patrimony is under attack. The prestige of our country that was once respected in the international community has become a laughingstock. Because we Liberians in 2017 made an historical mistake.
Yes.
In electing a man who should never even be elected superintendent. This is the sin we have committed, but this is the sin we will have to live. Be as it may, we have no choice but to correct the wrong. In response, or quote unquote, in appreciation of our mistake, by electing a man who should not have even been elected president, he continues to launch an attack on viable and potent democratic forces and opposition leaders. Alexander Cummings being a recent victim. And the expression of that irresponsible way of governing, he has allowed a man who is said to be the Solicitor General of this country, Councillor Serena Cephas, to prosecute Alexander Cummings. On reflection, one can conclude that Alexander Cummings and his team and his leadership are being prosecuted by depraved hands. Hands that are tainted. Hands that are born by a man called Serena Cephas. In any decent country that desires to make progress, Serena Cephas should not even be a lawyer, a practicing lawyer, much less a Solicitor General. This is a man who, while practicing as a lawyer, was arrested, handcuffed, and publicly jailed for selling fake gold to his clients. At that time, Councillor Samuel Jacobs was a county attorney. At that time, Councillor Samuel Jacobs was the county attorney, former Associate Justice, Working's Rights was the Solicitor General, and Serena Cephas reportedly sold fake gold to his clients, thereby defrauding them of hundreds of thousands of dollars. On account of that, Serena Cephas was arrested, he was handcuffed and sent to the Monrovia City Prison. Such a man should never be allowed to practice law anyway. This is the man who continues to prosecute Alexander Cummings. This is the man in whose hands the judicial administration finds solace to prosecute a decent man. In less than 2 years, Serena Cephas was arrested again, jailed and handcuffed publicly.
Shut up.
For writing false stories in the Plain Truth News. He was instrumental in the closing down of several newspapers in this country. He was instrumental in engineering the arrest of many journalists, including the newspaper, simply because that newspaper headed by its, I think, editor-in-chief, Juan Patois, wrote a story about strange helicopters in Liberia. As a result of that, journalist Patois fled this country in fear for his life. This is the Serena Cephas. My friend and brother Dumoe made mention of one of the revolutionary legendaries in this country, Honorable Gabriel Dumoe. That brings to memory, the death of Gabriel Dumoe brings to memory the kind of people we have to contend with, people in the likes of Serena Cephas. I don't know how many of you are aware that Serena Cephas served as G2 commander for the notorious and murderous National Patriotic Front of Mr. Charles Taylor. G2 is the intelligence and surveillance wing that supplies secret information, including propaganda and visa body, to a rebel faction. That is the role Serena Cephas played.
Criminal.
They will go to the armed men, the killers, and tell them this man is an enemy. And you know what the punishment is? Not a courthouse, but it's death. Serena Cephas served as G2 commander for NPFL in this country. This is the man who has been allowed to harass innocent people. It is more likely than not that the intelligence information provided by Serena Cephas led to the killing and the murder of Gabriel Dumoe, Jackson Doe, Wiwi Diba, Tonia Richardson, Dumoe Gabi Tabia.
Let's continue.
This is the Serena Cephas we have to tell you. But I want to inform you, comrades, in life, as in politics, there will always be forces of good and forces of evil.
Now,
there comes a time when the forces of good must triumph over the forces of evil. And that triumph is carried out, is implemented, and is prosecuted by men of genuine goodwill like yourselves. Human progress never rolls on the wheel of inevitability. It must be inspired and carried out by men who are ready and determined to make change. And true change is brought about by people who themselves have changed in the process of bringing about change. This is a rule. And this is the rule that you must prosecute. Don't feel deterred that you are small in number. There were 3 Hebrew boys who changed the course of history. Remember when the evil king called Nebuchadnezzar placed them in the fire? They were 3. But it became 4.
yeah.
4. The forces of God joined them. What that tells us is people who are fighting for justice, even if you are in minority, you have God on your side.
So, exactly.
That's what it tells us.
You got everything.
Quite recently, and I'm going to move forward, but let me digress and come back a little bit. Quite recently, stay on the same Serena Cephas, a man who has been asked to prosecute a clean man and it's public knowledge. It's public knowledge. But Madam Ellie Corcoran made open confessions. And directly, she did not mince the words, and directly accused Serena Cephas of being responsible for ritualistic killings in this country. Of being involved in the murder of young virgin girls.
Get up!
Madam Ellie Corcoran said that Serena Seaforth even invited her to be part of the killing machine of young girls. And nobody can deny that young virgins were being killed. Of course it's true. Young virgins was being killed.
Sure.
The only excuse that Serena Seaforth has provided is when the man who was doing it called Ofori Diaz, the police looking for him. Up to now the police is looking for Ofori Diaz. But Ellen Corcoran did not mince her words. She said Serena Seaforth was using Ofori Diaz to kill young virgins. When there's a government waiting to arrest Serena Seaforth?
So what then?
What is the government waiting to arrest Serena Seaforth? When are we in this country? 1847 up to present. The core of our problem has been a lack of national leadership. From the first president of this country, Joseph Jimmy Roberts, the struggle for genuine national leadership has never ended, which also metamorphosed into the student struggle on the campus of the University of Liberia. The students have been agitating for change on the national scene. And then in 2017, in furtherance of that search for genuine national leadership, and frustrated by past leaderships, Liberians rushed to judgment and elected the mayor who should not even be superintendent. And by all accounts, Mr. Uria has become the #1 useless national leader we've ever produced.
So!
All is not lost. As we embark on a national recruitment for the National Democratic Front, the ANC, including its political leader, is prepared, is ready to stand tall and support and encourage any group of Liberians who will pursue non-violent democratic means to mount pressure on this dead government.
Speak! As you speak!
We thought we made progress when the international community came to our aid. The regime of Ellen Johnson Sirleaf was not perfect. In fact, a lot of lapses were occasioned during that administration. And many Liberians yearn for change. But as evidenced by the happenings and the realities of today, as the typical Liberian will say, we have come from west to what? Ridiculous. We have come from west to what? Ridiculous. We cannot continue like this beyond 2023.
South! Kumi must go! Victory! All the way.
One of the comrades made reference to Fidel Castro. Again, I gave you a caveat that says true change is brought about by people who themselves are changed in the process of bringing about change. And real change makers are not judged by their size, but by their quality. That's why in revolutionary science it says the fewer the better the fewer. Strive for qualitative few. When you talk about the Cubans, Fidel Castro, they were 99 when they launched the revolution. After they were repelled, when they regrouped, they were 16. And 16 men made change, not 100 men. In Cuba. That is the story of Fidel Castro. Independent and utilize quality, not quantity. Friends, what you are embarking on as a caution is going to be rocky. I can tell you because I've been there. I fought dictators in this country, and I fought despots. So I know what it means to launch non-violent revolution. So the role is not going to be easy for you. Some of you may be thrown into jail.
Yes.
Sure. The system will fight back.
Sure.
for your willingness to gladly accept jail sentence as a condition, as a price that you must pay for changing your country, should be accepted gladly. There was a man called Albert Port in this country who fought for social justice and democracy in this country. And because he knew he was right every time we called him to go to the court, he would take his toothbrush and his mat. He said, "You're ready to carry me, Jay? I'm ready to go to jail. Because I know that kangaroo trial coming here." Be prepared. You're not going to get struggle. You're not going to get victory today. You're not going to get victory tomorrow. But you may get victory the day after. And you must fight for that. And as you move on, do not get involved in violence. They will use violence to provoke you. But use your collective will to use non-violence means to trample upon violence and force. God bless you. May Jesus be with you.
Well, you know, the SG has just, you know, displayed and taken us into real revolutionary history. And that tells us why we are so glad to have such a man as the pen pusher of the ANC. As we are proud having you here.
Now, the SG is strong.
I'd like to say, on behalf of all of the young people of the ANC, the men and women of the Indomitable National Youth Congress of the ANC, we'd like to welcome you, members and executives of the National Democratic Front. My own big brother, Menipakei, and I have been talking. He told me about the NDF, and I said it's a good project, and it was good that we sit and have some discussions on how we can amalgamate the forces along with the young people of the ANC so that we see to it that democracy prevail in Liberia. And so it's a good thing to have you on board. The young people of the ANC are willing to work along, but let me also have you informed that we are cognizant of the undemocratic practice of President Weah, most especially his attempt. I call it an attempt because I'm very sure, we from the ANC are very sure that this attempt will fail. I call it an attempt because it has no magnitude and it has no level that can indict our next president, Mr. Adesanya Kumis. So we are cognizant that this attempt is to infringe on the right of our political leader so as to stop him from running in 2023 because he is seen as the only option that can unseat President Weah democratically in 2023. And so given that, the young people of the ANC are also making the forces. We have already put in our plans and we will start those actions. Peaceful actions. We have already assembled and we have a group that will also work along with the National Democratic Front. That group is called NAJU, the National Assembly for Justice and Democracy in Liberia. NAJU intends to bring out the young people of Liberia. This is strictly youth driven. We intend to bring the young people of Liberia who are conscientized, who are following the court proceedings against our standard bearer, Mr. Adesanya Kumis. We intend to bring them out so as to call on the international community to keep an eye on this case and so as to also avoid any foul play against our standard bearer. NAJU will bring out not less than 5,000 young people on that day. And we look to work along with the National Democratic Front and all other allies around the country, advocacy groups, youth groups, students group, like he said, the motorcyclists, those struggling young people of our country. We are working along with them to make sure that we bring out at least 5,000 young people that will speak to the international community so as to enable them have an eye kept on this case so that our Senate Bureau cannot and will not be stepped on, and so that democracy can also have its own will, so the people decide on who becomes their next president by 2023. So we want to welcome you. We want to say we are glad that you have been conscientized. We are glad that you have taken on your own time. I'm not sure that somebody went to you to say, come and do this. It is your own consciousness that you have picked up to get involved with this. And so we welcome you. Menipakei, let's keep in touch. Like I said, we are planning this. It's no secret. The Youth Congress, the young people of the ANC are planning this along with other civil society groups. And we look forward to the National Democratic Front to join us in this process. We are talking about 5,000. Maybe the National Democratic Front can bring additional 5,000 men to make it 10,000, so we'll last the entire moment on that day. I will say thank you. Let's make sure that democratic prevail. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you, folks, for watching the National Front of Liberia just visited the Youth League at the Alternative National Congress. My name is Sylvester Chilpe. Thank you for following.